testing, I'm testing.
Yes,
No YouTube
I
tá
can hear you
aparecendo agora.
loud and clear.
Testing, okay. Very good, guys. One more time here. Hello, my name is Rafael. I am here representing Mundo Gamer Jobs once again with a fantastic podcast, the one and only podcast about the games industry. We are here today with two fantastic people from the UX design area. I will present to you them soon. And today, please feel free to make questions if you have never met or never seen anyone from the UX area. If you have questions about the area, if you have questions about how to enter in this area, if you have any other questions, please feel free, okay, to make questions to them. We are here to answer your questions, so participate and let's jump in to the podcast itself.
Hello,
Fine,
hello.
thanks.
I'm great. I'm doing great. I can see myself on YouTube, but I cannot see ourselves on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if the event. Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, no, I can see the event, but uh, I cannot see our video on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if it's broadcasting on LinkedIn. Like broadcasting fine on YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not, okay, so I think I'm not muted anymore, guys. So let me just open here to check everything. 1 second. 1 second. This is live. Things happen, you know. We want everything to go as accordingly. Okay, I'm just going to set up the LinkedIn again, guys. 1 second, please. While I am setting
Okay.
up the LinkedIn account for the interview, okay, I can ask Mauricio to just start in talking about himself, but just in a while, okay, guys? Just bear with me. I'm sorry for this. I'm just gonna reset the LinkedIn. We had a trouble here, so let me change it one more time. So here, okay, this was changed. Now let's change this other one. All right. Okay, done. Let me see if it will connect. Okay. It is supposed to be connected on LinkedIn now.
Let me check.
It is supposed to. Okay, I'm going to put the link on the WhatsApp, guys, so you guys can see it as well if you want. It's here.
Let's see. It's loading up the screen on LinkedIn. Let's see.
Okay.
It says that the event is starting soon on LinkedIn.
No, it will. It will start. Don't worry, guys.
Wait a minute. It seems to be loading. Let's see. It still says starting soon on LinkedIn.
Yeah, wait for the host to start. But have already started.
How many people?
Let me see. Yeah, it's running. Okay. Here it's running. Yeah. Okay. The director says it's online. So it's online. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Very good. So probably it's gonna take some time for us to see it, but it's gonna appear. Don't worry. Very good. We can go to YouTube, guys. If you are on YouTube, okay, just go to youtube.com/Mundo Gamer, and you will see it. The live is there. Okay, here we are live on YouTube. Everything is okay. Very good. So we have here, okay, Carla is online. Carla is hearing us. Fine. Very good. Let's go to Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch is going to be all right as well. Let me see. Twitch is also fine. Okay, good. And LinkedIn. Yeah. For me, guys, it's still appearing like it's starting soon on LinkedIn, but let's
Yeah.
continue. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry about that, guys, that you that are watching. Okay, I'm sorry for that, but technical problems they happen sometimes. LinkedIn is a new thing, to do lives and all that is the second time we are doing. This is the second episode, so sorry for anything. And here today, so I have Mauricio with me and I have Claudio. Okay, and guys, it's the first time I'm talking to UX designers such as professionals as yourselves. Okay, you guys have
Right.
a long career. You guys have a lot of experience. You guys normally give workshops in events. You had a workshop back here in Brazil at Gamescom Latam, right?
Oh, yeah.
Very good. So we are talking to people who really understands about the area, guys. So please feel free to make questions. And I have separated some questions as well here for them. Okay. And the first question I would like to ask, okay, is how have your careers as UX designers started? Let's go like this. Mauricio can say and Claudio can say after.
Yeah.
So how have your UX design careers started?
Go ahead, Mo.
Mauricio, your microphone
It's muted.
is muted.
Mo?
It was working. Now it has stopped. Okay.
So I can start. So,
Okay, go Claude, please start while
yeah.
Mauricio is there.
So, guys, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to talk about the UX with you. And my name is Claudio Gusmão, aka Gusmão. So feel free to call me Gusmão. It's not a problem, okay? So my career started before I get inside the games industry. I'm I'm started studying ergonomics. I'm coming from design, and I started with ergonomics, usability, and accessibility for websites in early 2000. After that, I started to teach in game design course in bachelor, and I started a research about playtesting, QA, and how you can use or how we can think about usability for games. It's not common, and that time, and I started to in a class over there with the students to creating playtesting, and so we have a not improved the products. So I started my career there. So that's it.
Fantastic, fantastic. My God, you have done so many different things. So this is awesome.
Oh yeah,
It's very difficult, like nowadays, to
and so
to have this. So many people sometimes they think that okay, I just did a course and I am a UX designer now, and no, this is not the case, right? So it's so nice to see that. Very good.
oh yeah,
It's awesome. And you, Maurice, how is your?
I think Mauricio is is off here, down.
Yes, I can see him, but I cannot check. I think he's trying. Can you say something, Mal? Just a sec.
So I can continue.
Of course you can. Of course you can. No problem. We can continue.
You
It
you
happens.
you said something interesting. UX is a mindset, not a regular formation or regular career, right? You need some maturity to do it. So it's not easy to. I have a course, so I'm UX designer now. Maybe you can, or maybe you need some years of work to can see how products can perform and connected with the desire of users, right? And it's not easy. It's not a course thing.
Very good.
So
Can you hear me now?
now coming back.
Yes, man. We can hear you pretty well. Yes.
Oh yeah. All right. All
Okay,
right.
welcome
That's
back,
fine.
man. So happy to have you back here. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
no,
I
so
had
much
to
happy.
restart Discord here, but it's going fine now.
No, don't worry, man. It happens. It happens. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Very nice for you to clarify that, Claudio. Because we have a lot of UX and UI courses and all that, but it's very interesting to know that it's not just the course that makes you a UX designer, right? It's so much more, like you said, the maturity and all that. We can
Mhm.
talk about that after. I'll let Claudio
Mhm.
introduce himself and tell us how he has started working with UX design. The stage is yours,
Mhm.
Mauricio.
Yeah. So you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, perfectly.
All right. All right. So I graduated in graphic design in 2007, and since then I had a few opportunities to work in print, right? So working with books and book collections and things like that. I had a few other experiences in publishing. There's a famous publishing here in Brazil, which is called Editora Abril. And I had a quick experience there, but I got the opportunity of working in Itaú back in 2012, which was my first experience as a user experience designer. So since then, I have been working on this, and it's been 13 years working on the field, and I have worked on many different companies. So Itaú, Serasa Experian, I have worked at Prudential, and since like 2 or 3 years ago, I started working specifically in gaming within the gaming industry. So it was a dream of mine since I was a kid to start working within the gaming industry, and I finally made that wish come true a few years ago, and it's been a wonderful journey so far ever since.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
For those of you who are here and don't know what it is, okay, Itaú is a
Mhm.
bank. Is a bank that we have
Yeah.
here in Brazil. Okay, Serasa
Mhm.
Experian, it is a organizational company. Okay, so it is also very
Yeah.
well to see that. And if that's your work, fantastic, because those are very nice
Mhm.
user experiences. So
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
congratulations. But
Thank
one
you.
question that people always ask, because we have UX design in a lot of companies, in a lot of ways, and we have UX design in games. So,
Mhm.
how do you personally, okay, using your personal opinion, how do you personally define UX design in games?
Mhm. Well, UX design is basically a way for how the user feels about something. How he experiences something that user is making use of. So, for example, one thing that we can differentiate is that there's a saying that UI, the user interface, is like the bridge that you cross, and UX is how you feel while crossing and after crossing that bridge. It's an easy analogy for people to understand. So everything that you see, that you touch, that you interact with is usually the interface, and the UX is the things that you make and how you organize and how you structure things in a way that is intuitive for the user to use that interface. That's a basic explanation for that. And in gaming, this is very important because the thing is, Google Maps, for example, or if you are using your health insurance application or something like that, you are obliged to use that in some situations, right? Or if you are using Waze, for example, to get around the traffic, because these are the main tools that we use on our daily lives. But if you think about that in gaming, if you have bad UX or bad UI, that's the thing that's gonna make any person drop your game and don't play your game anymore. So if it's a demo, the person is not gonna want to buy your game. Or if the person has started playing, in Steam, you can ask for your money back or something like that. So a bad user experience in games is something that will disencourage people on playing your game. So it's very tricky to work with that within the gaming industry. Yeah.
Yeah, very serious. That's why I am always saying our first episode, guys, was about localization, right? And some people, they were asking like, oh, why are you starting by localization and not like game devs and all that? Because I want to start talking with all the support that compose the game. So we have the localization, we have the UX design, and we have many more areas we're going to bring here to the podcast. So guys, please, you have to participate. Okay, never lose any episode. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you saw this, how important it is UX design for a game. Imagine, I can sense that when I play games, of course you guys as well, because the first thing that comes to my mind when we speak to that, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, because I'm not a UX designer, so I am eligible to make mistakes here. So for example, I remember when I first started to play Final Fantasy games, man, I loved the way that the menu works. Since the menu, the game catches you. So this is fantastic, the options and how the game responds to you, like the experience you have just by finding things very quickly during a fight, or searching an item, and all that. I can talk about World of Warcraft here too, like to manage the bags that you have in the game. Guys, it's simply amazing. This adds so much to the game, and I think you are correct, Mauricio. I agree totally with you. I think that if we cannot provide a very good experience, people can drop the game. Very good.
Yeah.
And
So
you, Claudio?
I'd like to my 2 cents about we have points, or we have some subjective points and objective points in UX. Mauricio told us about objective points that experience. So we have a connection with the user through the experience design. We need to build the bridge to do it. And this connection is through emotion. So we need to catch the attention of this guy, this player, to conduct it through the level, through the gameplay. And this aspect of UX design is very important. So we can connect to the player, and we have objective aspects, like don't have block, or undesirable block, and we have to conduct this player over there. Another thing is that the challenge to build this in game, because for an app or website or another interactive medium, usability is about to get rid the obstacles. In game, we have to put obstacles to have a challenge and to have a gameplay, to have a level. So this balance these things is very difficult for UX design.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
fantastic.
totally right. Yeah.
Yes, it's very good, very good. I'm loving this connection that you guys have. Like one
Mhm.
start talking about the feelings, and the other talk about the technical part. This is so amazing, you know. We have a good chemistry here today, guys. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
I saw a comment.
That's why
Sorry,
that's
go
why
go.
sorry that's why you Final Fantasy catch you in the menu,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, exactly, exactly that. You have the fun part, but you have the technical part as well. So yeah, you
Mhm.
mix
Yeah.
Yeah.
those two. I saw on YouTube that Beatriz Marques said that it's her dream as well. You know,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
didn't understand if it is her dream to be a UX designer or to work as a UX designer for games. So please, Beatriz, feel free to make any questions you like. Okay, feel free.
Right.
All right, so let's continue here our questions. So another questions for you guys. We have a lot of use and use and use. Okay. So what is the difference between a UX designer, a UI
Mhm.
designer, and a UI artist?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I
great,
can
great
get that.
question.
So yeah, this is something that some people they think that it's pretty much all the same, but it really depends because these are different hats, and sometimes you have a specific person for each hat, and sometimes you have to be a single person that wears all of the three hats, and you have some other hats as well. The thing is, so trying to differentiate one another. So, for example, the UX designer is the guy that is going to understand the structure of the interface. So he has to understand with the game designer what are the prerequisites, what's the goal for the interface, what's the most important action that needs to be done there. And he has to take care of the strategic part and the user flow and to see if that experience and if the first drafts if the first wireframes they are in line with what the game designer is building on their side, but in a structural sense of things. You know, a UX designer doesn't necessarily has to think about color, about making things in the final design and in the final visualization. Is mostly about the structure of things and how things work and how things connect. And if you tap on something, where is this going to take the user or the player? The UI designer is the guy that is going to get that structure, and he's going to put on top of that structure the branding of the game or the branding of the application, and try to translate the colors and the identity of the game or the application into that interface. So, for example, it's pretty common if you have like a big team that you have pretty separated roles and you have a specific UX
Hmm.
designer. Probably the UX designer is going to create like a wireframe in shades of gray or in black and white, something like that. And the UI designer is the guy who's going to be responsible, or the girl, who's going to be responsible for putting colors on things and thinking about which fonts are going to be used, which font sizes are going to be used. So a UI designer is a guy that is going to be worried about accessibility and ergonomics to see if that font size is in a size that is readable, that is small enough or big enough, depending on the situation. And basically is the person who's going to take care of the visual identity on how to reflect the game or the company visual identity into the interface. And last but not least, a UI artist is a guy that most of the times a UI artist also knows about 2D character design. Is somebody who knows how to paint, how to create digital paintings and things like that. And a UI artist is that guy who that person that has that craftsmanship, who knows about, I know, effects and shadings and ornaments, and draws beautiful things, and make the interface stand out and connect in an emotional way with the player or the user. So sometimes a single person has to do everything, all of that. So it really depends on the size of the company. But the ideal situation would be that each of these hats are worn by three different people. That's basically the difference. So one is more strategic, the other is more visual, and the last one is more emotional and uses like that craftsmanship to build and design beautiful things.
Amazing,
Yeah, exactly.
amazing. Do you want to add something, Claudio?
No, it's so
So
clear
perfect,
here,
right?
so perfect.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it because this is something that people are always they are always in doubt about. Like, okay, what should I
Mhm.
be? Should I be a UX or a UI designer? Now they know.
Yeah.
Because now they know where
It's very
they want
important.
to, what is their goal, what is their objective. So I think it's fantastic. Very good. Thanks for that. And
Yeah.
about that, Beatriz talked here. So thank you so much, Beatriz Marques, for talking.
Yeah.
She said, I am an LQA at the moment and UX designer before. Now I want to become a UX for games. And I am a
Mhm.
huge fan of Mauricio's work and I'm learning a lot from him to make this transition happen. Oh, fantastic. We have a fan of
Great,
yours here,
fantastic.
Mauricio. So good. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Uh,
very much.
Claudio Gusmão is an awesome guy too. I had mentorship with him before. Amazing, amazing. So, Beatriz, you are
Yeah,
in the right place with the right people,
at the right time.
at the right time,
Yeah.
learning so
Yeah.
much. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Beatriz,
Yeah.
for your, insights here. It's so good. Okay, you can talk about in the chat how is it like the mentorship, how it was working with them. Please do talk. We want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And at the LinkedIn, we have Zuniga Cruz. Uh, it said, I am a person who is starting out. I am taking generic courses to learn. I want to be a junior QA in manual testing for the
Mhm.
moment, and I am motivated to learn automation. I like the world of video games. I am studying for the ISTQB. ISTQB, guys, I
Mhm.
searched it here. It is the International Software Testing Qualification Board.
Exactly,
Mm.
certification.
Yes. And on level foundation. And what do you advise me? I don't speak English. So please, Zuniga, what language do you speak?
Mhm.
It's
Let me see.
another concept important to be sure you have understandable. QA
Yeah.
versus UX, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
It's important to differentiate.
Yes, if you guys can do something for her, because like what she is a QA right now, right? She's doing manual testing. She's testing
Mhm.
APIs and all that probably, and she wants to change for a UX designer in games. So, what advice do you guys have to tell her or to tell him?
Well, it started with the courses. Um, it's important to getting Mentorias Games Brazil website, so he
Yeah.
can talk to me or Mauricio or another friends of us that offer a mentorship to help you in your transition. And but it's very important to be sure that UX is totally different from QA,
Yeah.
especially in software, of course, but in games too. When I test a game from QA perspective, I'm looking for bugs or fails, um, and to be sure that the game is functional. So we call it common functional QA. UX, we trying to discover how to deliver a product that connect with the player. So we looking for to discover aspects that we can improve it or design it in experience. So we need to differentiate. I'd like to complement
Yes.
the people QA testers is different from testers, UX testers. Okay, UX testers is the target, is the player, uh, a guy that don't have any experience in playtesting, right? QA, no, QA, we need a experienced guy to test a game from QA perspective, right?
Amazing. Very well said. Very well put. I agree.
Yeah.
I want to
And
tell Zunika that if you have any problems with language, okay, be advised that the podcast will be subtitled after, okay? So please, if you can tell us
Great.
your language, we can help you out with that and just separate this part of the answer for you and send it in your language. If you can do that to help us, it would be nice, okay? Thank you very much for your question. It was an awesome question. You got them smiling and intrigued. Very good. Fantastic. So we have, since we have the UX designer, and at the same time, is it possible to have a UX designer and a UI designer in the same project? Is it or no?
yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, it's just a matter of different hats that can be worn by different people, or sometimes it's a single person who does all the work. Yeah.
Oh,
Gender hat.
yes. Oh,
It
that's
really
why they
depends
have
on the
that.
size of the company. Yeah.
That's why they have that double sale, like UX and UI together, right?
Yeah.
In courses. Okay, okay. But if I study UX and I want to start studying UI, will I have a lot of problems?
No, because there's like a really gray area between the two, right? Sometimes depending on whatever you're working on, this is something that can be discussed. Like a UX designer and a UI designer can discuss or decide something together. You know, depending on the aspect of the requirement of what is being shown on the game design, something like that. So it really depends. Yeah, but of course, yeah, it really depends on the size of the company. So if it's a small studio, sometimes the UX person is the UI person and the artist as well, and sometimes the programmer as well. So it really depends on if it's an indie game or if it's a huge company, you know. So in indie studios and small studios, usually it's the same person. But if you think about companies like EA and Ubisoft and things like that, you have like a whole department full of dozens of designers, dozens of UX designers and UI designers and UI artists, and all of them work and collaborate together, and decide things together. But the thing is, if you want to learn, if you are going to do a course on UX design, eventually it's going to get to UI design. It's going to talk about UI design, and it doesn't make sense for you to study UI design if you haven't studied UX design, because they are different things, but they go along together. One thing cannot live without the other.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. This
Let,
this. Okay, Claudio, go please.
let me share something. This scenario, UI and UX designer is the same person. It's better than UX designer and only artist, a traditional artist because this artist needs to be sure that they know design tools and they know understand how to communicate the language of UX, right? And it's not simple, but major of studios or small studios use the artist to create UI. It's not problem itself, but you need to be sure that these artists um, can be an UI artist too, because it's totally different to build to concept a character or a universe, and you create an UI and aspects, design aspects, right? Gestalt or language of design or visual language. It's typography, lettering, etc.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, and talking about something else regarding that, what Guzmão said, I have shared a very important link for anyone who wants to get started, which is by NN Group, which is one of the greatest organizations that talk about UX design in the world. And this article that I have shared there is like the 10 commandments of UX, specifically applied to games, you know. So for example, as Guzman was saying, there may be an artist who knows how to create a beautiful and immersive interface, you know. It's like, so let's suppose like it's a very science fiction game, and that artist can create something very modern and futuristic looking, etc. But if that person doesn't have a UX background and doesn't understand the basics of usability and usability heuristics, that will only be pretty, you know, because the UI will never be functional and will never work if there's no good UX behind it, you know. So, for example, there's one very important heuristic here that you can find on that link there, which is visibility of system status. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to see an example of Breath of the Wild, for example, Zelda Breath of the Wild, for that first aspect, which is visibility of system status. So basically, this is something that you need to communicate to the player how things are, what's the current situation of the game, of the player, of the character, so that the player can make decisions based on the current situation. So, for example, in Breath of the Wild, if you take a look at this link, you see that the example that they show is like the character standing on a grassy field. And on that screen, you see the HUD, which is what we call heads-up interface, right? Heads-up display, which is whatever you see on the screen that is not part of the game world, but the player is seeing and understanding what's going on with the game. So on a HUD for a game such as Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, you can see the character's health, you can see the weapon that you are wielding. You can see where you are on the map. You can see the temperature of the environment that you are in. You can see if it's windy or not, if it's night, if it's day. So you have like many icons and things for you to understand the situation, because it's that thing. If you are getting prepared to battle, you want to make sure that your health is fine, right? Because if you take a hit, you don't want your character to die. So if you see that your HP is low, you're probably going to want to eat something, to feed your character something so they are better prepared for battle. Or for example, in this game, if you are in a very cold place, if the temperature is really low, you have to change your outfit so you get prepared for bad weather. You know, so the visibility of system status talks about that. So how you have to present to the player how things are so they can take better decisions, you know. So this is just one of the 10 commandments, let's say, that we have for usability. So it doesn't really matter if you create a very beautiful immersive interface if the player doesn't understand what's going on with the character, with the environment, and if they're not aware of how to make decisions to play the game, you know.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
fantastic. This was
Yeah.
like a shower of information and fantastic, because nowadays a lot of game devs, they think that UX design is just the menu of the game, right? So this was fantastic. You guys told a lot about Nintendo, and you have Nintendo pictures behind you. I will ask about that, okay? So don't worry. I will ask about that. But right now we have a question while you were explaining and all that on LinkedIn. Felipe Ariaga Cariço, he said, do games exist without the user experience? In case of don't being the answer, why the separation between game design and UX design for games?
This is a great question. So this is something that it was kind of intriguing for me when I started studying about getting into the gaming industry, because I really wanted to understand the difference about what a game designer does and what a UX designer does, because we haven't covered that so far on this talk, right? So the thing is, the game designer is the person, the professional who's going to be responsible on organizing the systems of the game. So, for example, he needs to understand if there's a need to have like an inventory system, like if there's a need for the character to manage whatever items that they gather during their journey or something like that. A game designer also needs to create a documentation for that. All of the rules for the UX and the UI designers and the UI artists to understand how they're going to build a screen, but most importantly for the developers to understand the rules and how things work. So, for example, a game designer is also going to be responsible for combat design. So he's going to be responsible, how does it work? So will the character have a sword? Will they have like some magic to use against any enemies? How much damage a weapon does, and how much damage the player's character take when they take a hit or something like that. So the game designer is going to organize how the game works. What's the gameplay mechanics and the rules, and balance everything out. And whereas the UX designer is going to be mostly responsible, of course, for the menus of the game, and for the interface and for the heads-up display, as I just covered. But there's one tricky thing about that question that our friend there asked us, Felipe. Yeah, because the thing is, it's impossible to have a game without considering UX design, but it is possible to have a game without the interface. So if you see, for example, I'm gonna put on the chat here a game that is called Cocoon. I'm gonna put on LinkedIn here as well. This game, you don't have any text whatsoever. I mean, you have text on the menu. If you pause the game, you can configure things and configure the controls, etc. But while you are playing the game, during the gameplay, there's no heads-up display. There's no dialogue. There's nothing. You just have to understand the environment and see how the character reacts to what's going on for you to understand how to play the game. So, for example, when your character gets closer to something that they can interact with, so for example, a panel, a button, a door, or something like that, the wings of the character starts to shiver, starts to shake. So you know that something's going on. Let me try to press a button to see what happens. So the game is all about discovery. So the game doesn't teach you anything. It's all about trial and error for you to understand how things work within the experience. So this is another way to approach it. A user interface is not mandatory, but the user experience is mandatory.
Fantastic.
That's the thing.
Do you want to say something, Gusmão, please?
Yeah. A subjective aspect is very important in this question, because that if you don't mind about the experience, you can make games, but the experience will be there, right? It's impossible to disconnect. one thing for another. The player will have an experience, so it's impossible to disconnect it. It's possible you don't care about user experience, and you don't care if your experience, because it's important. Experience is something that I offer for you, player. I want to feel. I want to know how you feel about my gameplay. And for example, if I can discuss to you about domestic violence, right? I need to be sure that this experience send a message understandable. So you need to be sure, you need to use, sorry, UX design for it. Okay. Another thing, it's connected about the questions that Mauricio told us for about interface and HUD, head-up display, etc. We have beyond that, we call it the diegetic interface. This is that in game universe, player universe, and character universe, what happens in this time? In universe, for example, Cocoon game, Maurício bring us. Cocoon game, the starting rain, for example, is starting rain because what? Why starting rain? This is interface to the eject one, cause in this game universe. In player universe, we have uh, everything is fourth wall. Bring that, right? Is another concept. We call it the breaking the fourth wall. Did you hear that?
Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah.
So fourth wall, two player is a dialogue with the player, not this character that player is rolling one, right? And
Fantastic.
if I put the sign, go there to the forest, it's a sign inside the scenario. It's a diegetic one, voiceover, etc. These things is UI too, right? You need to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. You guys are the Deadpools of UX design. Fantastic, amazing.
We
No,
wish.
but I really like it.
Not
I
yet.
really like it. I really like it. Talking more about that, here, Zuniga Cruz, it told more something. Okay. I have participated in functional testing on pages like Game
Oh,
Tester. Okay. And she also said, she or he, I'm sorry, Zuniga, I cannot say your gender by your name. I'm sorry for that. If you can't say it, it will help me. I am a Spanish speaker and I am looking for my first opportunity, whether as a job or to continue learning, but in practice with a job that allows me to do so. Okay, I think that with all the tips and hints that both Mauricio and Claudio Gusmão has sent here, with the links and all that, I think you have a goal. You have a starting point. But of course, I have a question separated here for them, exactly about how to start your career in UX design, and I
Mhm.
think this will help you a lot. Okay. Also, guys, since we are talking about entering in the world of games and all that, here at Mundo Gamer Jobs we have a level up career mentorship, which is now
great.
on the LinkedIn and also on YouTube for you guys to see. Okay, so everybody can check it out. Okay, and it's very good. I will just put on YouTube after it
Mhm.
because YouTube has characters lines. My God, never saw that before. But okay. And then, okay, we also have here first steps in the gaming industry ebook. So all of them are from Mundo Gamer Jobs, the mentorship, and the ebook are from Mundo Gamer Jobs. Okay, so feel free to access. Okay, access the link, see it. Okay, it has a cost, of course, but pay attention. Everything that is good and everything that comes with something that will bring you a future, you have to invest in it. Okay, this is something that all the professionals know about it. So there are the courses. Okay, also Mauricio put there the Mentorias Games Brazil. It's also a course. Okay, guys, so please feel free to enter. No, okay, it's fantastic, and we can continue here our questions. So
Great.
So, oh, okay, good. Something, okay. Since Zuniga like she talked about play tests and all that, when is the exact time? When it is the exact part of the stage of the game where I should do play tests work?
Since day zero.
Okay. I agree with that. I just wanted to make sure, because it's something we are talking about tests, play test work, what stages, and I think this is fantastic, like you said, because one of the things that I myself have suffered working with some studios, it is that people normally like to do their jobs, but they don't like to test their own jobs. And this is a problem in the industry today. Whatever you do, you have to test it, right? So I understood the day zero.
Yeah. So just talking a little bit more about day zero that Gusmão was talking there. The thing is, again, one of the things that we talked about, the challenges and the differences between regular applications and video games. The thing is, if your application, like if you have a website or an app and it's not working that well, if it's a bank, for example, the person will have to use it eventually, even if it's buggy. The user will have to find a way to come around to do a bank transfer, for example, because it's something that they need to do right away, right? As I was saying before, if the user doesn't feel emotionally connected to your game, they will leave it. They won't want to play it anymore. And the thing is, if you do play tests early, you're going to understand first if the concept of your game is working. So, for example, on that exact example that I gave about Cocoon, I'm pretty sure that they had many iterations to find out what would make the player understand how to interact with the game. What would be the ideal feedback and the most visually more appealing feedback for the player to understand how they would interact with that world if the game has no heads-up display or no dialogue. So they had to test that a lot. So you don't need to have the game completed and ready to be delivered to test that thing, to test that gameplay mechanic. You can have like a very simple animation with like gray blocks, and you don't need any fancy environment or any fancy artwork. You just have to see, okay, so if I put that in front of a player, and that player tries to understand what they have to do, if the wings of the character bounce a little bit, will this be enough for the player to understand that they can interact with that? So I'm pretty sure that they had many iterations and many tests to see how obvious it would be for if the player would understand what was going on. And it's a very different concept, because most games usually have dialogue and have a heads up display. So if you don't have that, you need to test to see if the player will be able to understand and will be able to play your game. So this is really important, to test the concepts. Doesn't that you have to test the game when the game is ready, but you can test the concept of the game, You can test the gameplay of the game. You can test a specific mechanic. You can test like a specific boss fight, for example. So if is this boss fight too easy? Is this boss fight too hard? So you have to test the game all the time. For the user to for you as a team to understand if the player is enjoying that game and being able to play that game in a way that they are having fun, because at the end of the day, this is what matters the most. If people are having fun, so games are all about fun. So if the user is not having fun, you don't have a good game, and you have to change things and test it again to see if it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah.
suffer a lot with QA.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this is something interesting that Gusmão was talking about, right? Because QA is pretty much related to finding bugs, to finding things that are not working properly. So for example, let's suppose that you are a character and you are in a boss fight, and you can see clearly that you were able to attack the boss, but the HP of the boss didn't change anything. So this
Mhm.
is surely a bug. So you have to tell the
Yeah.
developers, oh, you need to fix this. So this is how it goes. But also, when you're this is about QA, right, which is quality assurance. But when you go to playtests, you need to see if it's fun, if the player is enjoying the
Exactly.
experience. So it's a different kind of test. In one, you're testing to see if things work, and on the other one, you're testing to see if it's fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The fun
Amazing.
factor. That's I call
Yeah,
Amazing,
yeah.
amazing.
it.
And talking about AI, has AI affected UX design, guys?
Well,
Yeah, yes,
we
in a
have
way.
some experience too. People trying to create system that can help it by AI, sorry, uh, to develop tests. But for UX playtesting, it is not common yet. For QA or automatized tested, sorry, it's very important today. We using AI to creating some aspects of the test, but playtest is UX is we studying or find a way that AI can help us, but not yet. Is not ready.
Yeah,
Yeah, people need
yeah. I mean,
to. Sorry, people need to know that like AI is a tool. It's not something to be replaced. It's
exactly,
not. It's not to replace anything, right? It's to be used
Mhm.
as a tool.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is very important. This is what I was gonna say, because AI is a tool. It's something to make your life easier, because a computer is a tool. Because, for
Hmm.
example, quite a few years ago, you have to do many things by hand before going to a computer, and nowadays you can do anything on a computer. So it really depends. It's just a different way of working. And for example, Guzman was talking about how this affects playtests. So again, it's not something that is going to replace everything, but it sometimes speeds up the process. So for example, if you are doing like a playtest with like, imagine you are a big company, again, like Ubisoft or Nintendo or something like that, and you want to test your game with tens of thousands of people. You're not gonna have enough time to watch every single recording of or what everybody is saying. So if you use an AI to scan through all the experiences that the players had, and an AI tool can like create a report for you to say, what's the majority, what are the biggest pain points that were found on this big audience right there. So it's a good way for you to understand how to prioritize things. What's the biggest and most common pain points that will appear on a huge playtest base such as this one. But again, it won't replace a human really watching somebody playing and seeing how that person feels. Again, you have things like if the player is using their camera while doing a playtest, there are tools that can see if the facial expressions of the person, if the person is frowning, if they lift their eyebrows, if they're smiling, if they're crying, if they're scared. An AI tool can detect that. But one thing is for the AI tool to detect it, and the other thing is for the developers to really see what the players are experiencing, and this is a whole other thing. So it's important to have the human aspect during the whole process. AI helps and optimizes things. The human is indispensable in these situations.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Very good. Before we
totally
go
agree.
to our last question, and then I'll give you some time to
Mhm.
say your work about Nintendo and all that, and what more do you want to add here, guys? We have one question from Zuniga. Zuniga, she asked it in, or it asked it in Espanol. Do you guys think it is a good idea to take the ISTQB? I'm going to take it in Spanish. So is it good? Do you guys recommend her or him? I'm sorry, to take the International Software Testing Qualification Board. So do you guys think it is a good idea to take this test?
For QA, of course.
For QA,
Yeah.
yes, but for UX design, it's not something like necessary for like having it.
No,
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 no.
we have a certification, exactly certification UX for games now.
Ah, okay. Good, good. Do you know the name
Yeah.
or the link? Something if you can put there, Claudio, in LinkedIn, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry?
So if you can share links about any UX certifications, Gusmão.
Yes.
No, no, we don't have one.
Ah, okay. We
Oh,
don't have one like a proper UX
Exa-
design certification. That's why.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a specific. I mean, I'm not familiar if we do have a specific, UX design for gaming. A very thorough course certification, etc.
Yes, I
Hmm.
think it is
But,
like localization. We don't have something
yeah.
specific.
But if you go to, for example, the NN Group website organization, there are many different certifications that you can, and many different webinars and courses that you can take there. And there's another one which is interaction design foundation. There are
Yeah,
many courses and many certifications there, many master classes as well. So if you don't have time to do a very thorough course, you can just watch master classes and learn things bit by bit. So this is something that you can do.
Very
yeah.
good, very good. Zuniga, creo que si has respondido su cuestión. So, sí, eres una
Oh
buena
yeah,
idea tomarlo ISTQB for español
yeah,
para testar las aplicaciones, pero yo pienso que si usted quiere ah, empezar en UX Design Course, ah, es mejor para ti estudiar UX Design. Entonces,
Sí.
estudia UX Design y si quieres continuar en QA, testar ISTQB, es una buena idea. Gracias.
yeah. And,
Sorry, my
and
Spanish,
one
guys.
thing,
Okay, I tried, but very good. Uh,
one thing for you to add in Spanish there, if you can.
Yeah.
She or he has to learn English because no, a game when the game launches, it'll probably launch in English first because it's a way of conquering a bigger audience fast. Because it's one of the it's very common to have most studios are English or American or international or whatever, but most games they have at least the main language in English. Of course, they have many other languages, but you
Hmm.
need to learn English to be able to do anything to work within the gaming industry. And there was a company that I have worked before that we had people from Serbia, from the Philippines, from Argentina, from Mexico, from many other countries, and there's like a common language that people have to talk with one another. So, and that one language was English. So if you don't learn English, you won't be able to
Oh,
get
that's
into the
why
game.
they
It's
have that.
it's cold,
Ah,
but
that's
that's
why
how
they
it
have
is.
that. Very good, very good.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
totally agree with you. I totally agree with
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Idiomatic, singularities. It's good. It's good to know that. Very good. So let's go for
mm,
this
Yeah.
final question here. It's awesome. Okay, so what advice, okay, would you give to someone like Zuniga or any
mhm.
other one, who wants to break into the game industry as a UX
Yeah.
designer? What advice would you give to this person right now today?
Well,
Of-
I think that I start here. Let me see. Cilio Dan, The Gamer's Brain. It's
mm,
a good way to start because the UX is about our emotions. So you need to start here. I very recommend it. And Game User Research, it's another book, very important book. A blue one cover. I forgot the author. Sorry.
mm,
No problem.
He's a professor from Canada. It's very important book. Sorry, I forgot. And these books put you inside the how to know the psychology of play and how to make user research and you can start after that. So
yeah,
Mauricio can continue and
yeah.
we have a precious tips for it.
Yeah, so the other thing I was going to say is that specifically for game designer roles, for UX, UI, and UI artist roles, you need to have a portfolio, and you need people to see what you are doing, and what you are capable of. So there are two things. I mean, I guess three things that you can do to build your portfolio. One of them is what we call game jams. So if you are familiar with hackathons in traditional companies, game jams are pretty much like hackathons, but for gaming. That you have a very limited time for you to create a game. So depending on the game jam, it may be like 2 days, maybe 7 days, maybe a month. Usually it's like 2 or 7 days, depending on the game jam. And if you go to that website that I just put there, itch.io/gems, you see like a global calendar of every single game jam that takes place all over the world, and that you can sign in and participate. And basically, you can gather a few people that want to get into the gaming industry as well, to build a team and for you to participate, or you can go alone depending on the game jam, and somebody can put you on a specific team for you to meet somebody and for you to be able to build a game. And of course, it's important to have a multidisciplinary team of
Mhm.
people like developers, game designers, UX designers, even the aspiring ones. You don't have to be a professional. You don't need a certificate. You just need the will to participate, and time, of course, because you're gonna need like at least a couple of days or sometimes a week for you to be able to participate. And it's a great opportunity for you to be able to deliver a game, because ideally at the end of the game jam, you're going to submit your game to itch.io or to any other platform for people to play and experience and download your game. And if your game gets popular, you might end up getting a sponsorship, or somebody might notice you, or some studio might appreciate your work and want to hire you. So, a game jam is a really, I guess it's one of the most important things for you to be able to get into the gaming industry. And another thing, specifically for UX UI designers, if you search Google for UX UI challenge or something like that, you might face some websites that have these challenges. that can be something like, build an inventory system for 40 items and 4 category of items and things like that. So you would build that inventory and show people how was your rationale behind it. And a third thing that will eventually happen, and that happened to me. My portfolio is really outdated nowadays. I have many things from the early companies that I have worked on, so I don't have many things of my most recent work in gaming because due to NDAs and things like that. So I still have to update my portfolio. But the thing is, if you try a specific role on a specific company, like you apply to a specific job on a company, it's very common for companies to ask you to do a UI challenge as well, a UI test project. So, for example, the company might ask you, build me a HUD for a first-person shooter game and tell me the rationale behind the decisions that you made and why you chose specific colors and specific sizes and which design heuristics you used on that project, etc. So, using these three things, eventually you're going to build materials and good things for you to show on your portfolio and for people to notice you. And I guess one last tip about where to build your portfolio that some people might wonder about it. There's a very famous website which is called ArtStation, which I've heard from recruiters themselves that some recruiters they just get into ArtStation and they're just scrolling there to see the most recent work that people are publishing there, and they might just ping you and talk to you because of something that you have published on ArtStation, even if there's no job, no opportunity open on your company. They're just going to get your profile and set you aside in a way that if there's a spot for a new UX or UI designer on my team, I'm gonna call this guy, or this girl. So it's important to have your portfolio either on a website or on ArtStation or on both. Yeah.
Fantastic. Amazing, amazing. So
Yeah.
let's go to the golden question. Like, why do you guys have Nintendo things like behind you? I waited for this one. Come on. This is to wrap it up with a golden key. So tell me
Go ahead,
why.
Gusmão. You go first. You go first.
Zelda is a perfect game for me, right? I
Oh,
love it.
okay. Fantastic.
In my daughter too. So I love two time.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Like you are a fan and all that. Okay,
Yeah.
good, 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 good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Zelda games as well. There are some people that I have worked with before, on a small studio that we are creating a game for a game jam. That they were starting to make fun of me because there was always a good example of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, to that I was talking to them about a specific mechanic or a specific UI or anything related to that. So people would ask me, oh, how are you going to approach that? How are we going to solve this? And I kept saying, in Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's a specific mechanic that if you do this or that, etc. And people were making fun of me because it was the only example. But as Gusmão said, it's a really complete game. You can do so many things on that game, and Nintendo makes it so fun and simple. Of course, it's not perfect, right? So there are things that you could improve on any game and on Nintendo games as well. But they make it so fun and so easy to catch up and play and understand how to play, and it's really interesting. And there's this guy over here, my companion here, DK, that there's a new game about to launch this month, which is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a very very inventive and cool game that you can like destroy the floor, and you can get a rock and throw a rock. You can destroy the whole environment and things like that. So it's a very fun thing because who doesn't like to destroy things and to kick a castle in in the sand or something like that. We like to destroy things. It's fun. So people who play GTA, for example, GTA,
Easy
3,
fun.
4, 5, 6 is coming out. Sometimes you just want to go there and create a mess, and start shooting things and start making things blow up, So this is a way of having fun. So that's all about it. That's all about this. Nintendo makes fun games and enjoyable games and games that you want to play and you cannot stop playing because they are very fun. It doesn't really matter the graphics, the style. The thing is that the games are fun. So this is what matters at the end of the day.
Fantastic, fantastic. We can say that Nintendo is like the inspiration for UX design, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
good. Everybody has to set their inspiration from somewhere. Fantastic, guys,
Yeah.
fantastic. Do you want to share, since you have access to the chat over LinkedIn? Okay, LinkedIn is the business
Yeah.
one. Okay, so if you want to share your LinkedIn, if you want to share any social media that you have, okay, please feel free to do it. Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can do it. So, guys, this while they are writing their social medias and okay, what they work with, you can check it out. You can make more questions. Okay, we are here to do that. This is not like the last round of UX design that we can have here at the podcast. We can bring more about this topic. I think it was such an awesome time. Okay. I
Thank
told
you.
you guys it was going to be 1 hour. We are 1 hour and 16. We passed it a little, but it was a fantastic conversation. I got very excited to have you guys here, talk to you guys about the games, and
It was
it's
great.
so amazing. Okay, thanks so much for you guys. For having me here with you. Hosting this fantastic podcast for Mundo Gamer Jobs,
Thank
the
you, man.
one and only career podcast, and it's so amazing to have you guys. So experienced
Thank you.
guys like you. It's so amazing. I want to thank everybody from LinkedIn as well. Everybody that made a question. I hope your questions had been answered. Okay, if you have any more questions, you can access our LinkedIn's, make some questions. We can redirect these questions towards Mauricio and Gusmão and can answer you guys back. Thank you so much for YouTube people. Go YouTube. Very good. Thank you
It was
so
a pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. And of course, Twitch guys, thank you so much for watching. And this is another podcast that is coming to an end. We could be talking here for 2, 3, 4 hours, in a row. We wouldn't be tired of it, but come on, we still have things to do. And it was amazing. I just loved this episode. Was it good for you guys? What is your opinion about it? Did you like it?
It's amazing. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk about the things that we love to do, right?
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Guzmão? How was it?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm loving this time. Thank you.
Very good. So here is Rafael one more time talking in behalf of Mundo Gamer Jobs. This is the Mundo Game Career Podcast, the one and only career industry game podcast online for you guys. So this is it. Thank you so much for coming, and I see you in the next episode next Friday. Okay, so follow all the social media to see what is the next topic, and I see you there. Bye bye, guys. See you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Maurício. Bye bye,
Yeah.
Gusmão.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Aí beleza, aí acabou lá já, agora já foi tudo. E aí, mandaram bem demais, pô. Que isso, cara.
Muito bem, muito bem.
Tá maluco,
Muito bom.
como diz no
Não,
carioquês? Tá maluco?
não,
Né? Foi
mandou
muito bom,
bem,
muito
mandou
bom.
bem.
Muito obrigado.
Que isso.
Valeu demais. Foi bom